For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson. When Candace Owens appeared as a guest last week on The Breakfast Club, of course, social media couldn't keep their thoughts to themselves. And it seems as though her interview on the long-running radio show was met with mixed reviews. Some criticized the host DJ Envy, Jess Hilarious, and Charlamagne the God for not challenging Owens when it came to her opinions on social justice issues. Others thought it showed Owens in a different light compared to the headlines she's typically involved in. And some even dared to say she's invited to the cookout. However, despite the mixed reviews of the interview, it appears like some individuals weren't fazed by Owens' lighthearted interview. Comedian D.L. Hughley would immediately take to social media to share a message. He would post, "So Candace Owens, who said the police officer didn't kill George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery was a hoax, Breonna Taylor was a drug dealer who caused her own death, and they only lynched about 3,500, that wasn't really a lot based on the population, is now okay because she knew the lyrics to the Fresh Prince?" Now, Hughley would follow that post up with a headline from the Shade Room that reported Owens firing from the Daily Wire for allegedly promoting anti-Semitism. About the same story, Hughley would say, "Well, so what y'all got going on this Sunday? You'll find out just how black you are, one way or another." Almost alluding to Paul Mooney's famous words, Candace Owens got her N-word wake-up call. But he wouldn't stop there. In a completely separate post, he would share several clips of Candace Owens' most controversial opinions over the last few years. Those comments included claiming that Juneteenth is ghetto and made up, discrediting the deaths of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, and so much more. So let's take a look at what some people may have forgotten Candace Owens has said in the past.
If we're actively helping our boyfriends move drugs, which is what Breonna Taylor was actually doing, trailing her, that her name was on the warrant when they showed up at her place. Everything the media told you was a lie. The police officers had every right to be at her property. They had been monitoring that property for weeks. They were moving drugs, and Jamarcus Glover was the person who was at the center of it. You were told that the police officer shot her while she was asleep. No, she was standing in a hallway. It was not an accident, okay? She was knee deep in drugs. They fired first. They shot a police officer, and I shouldn't say
the redheads get something, right? You know, they're the true minority that nobody talks about. Ariel, who had beautiful, long, red hair. It was actually one of my favorite movies. I was a big Disney child. Nothing can be left as it is, and they are now producing a mermaid movie in which Ariel is black. It's not common for black people to have red hair. It is, in fact, a Nordic trait, but they're going to make her black because everything must be black.
I want to come out and say that I do not support George Floyd and the media depiction of him as a martyr for Black America. I have spent a considerable amount of time reading a lot of Black authors, Walter Williams, Shelby Steele, Thomas Sowell. I recently came across something that was an idea that was planted into my head by Shelby Steele. It is something that will stick with me for the rest of my life. And it is something that I hope for the Black Americans that are watching will stick with you for the rest of your life. The Black community is unique from other communities. Our culture is unique from other communities. We are the only community that caters to the bottom denominator of our society.
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
So you can see why the left loved that clip and why they're now calling Charlie Kirk, who I worked for and with for years, an avowed racist. He says that that's going to be his first thought if he sees a black pilot. You know what? I said the exact same thing on this show. I remarked that now when I even am watching a commercial and I see a black person, a Hispanic person, an Asian person, my thought process is, did they just get this because DEI?
The actually worst thing to be in this society, if one thing I would not want to be, is a straight white male. For some reason, that's considered problematic. They're lying on college applications. They're like, okay, I'm white, but I'm also trans. And you're like, what? Because, I don't want people to think I'm too normal, right? And people, they're just trying to find something that makes them not white. It's really staggering to think that is exactly what the experience was for a black American, that being a black American was so problematic. Now you have the exact same thing happening reverse, and you have liberals trying to convince you that that's equality. All lives matter, and that's including white lives matter,
Now, unfortunately, the comments under Hughley's mini post were just as divisive, with some even branding Owens as a truth teller and others still not buying in on anything she has to say. One user on social media would echo the talking points of many by writing, "It's unbelievable how many people can easily forgive her for all the heinous things she said against Black people, only to try to come back over to us when she gets into some ish. And here we are saying, well, she made good points. Liars, racists, serial killers, etc. can all say truthful things and still be horrible people. I think she's smart and strategic, and I still don't get down with her. I can respect good points and still be like, nope. She has spit in our faces, and because she makes good points in an interview, I can't now just say, come on girl, welcome home. It's a no for me." But you heard from us, now we want to hear from you below. What do you think of people championing Candace Owens after her interview with The Breakfast Club? Let us know in the comments below. For Comedy Hype News, I'm Symphony Thompson.
Oh, you feeling my shirt? Well, I'll tell you where I got it from, but it's a bit of a secret. Nah, it's the Hype Market, thehypemarket.com. This is where I get all my exclusive pieces from Black-owned to cool-owned brands. Every brand has a story, and you get a chance to figure out who and what you're spending your money on. I mean, they even have spaces for you to use. Come here. They even have tickets for events and exclusive joints just like this. Oh, now if you excuse me, they just dropped some new art, and I think it's time for me to add to my collection.